From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 12th, 2019. Well, after a surge of outcry from Republicans and Democrats in Congress, as well as from Jewish organizations across the board, and demands for an apology, freshman Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar issued an apology last night for her earlier tweets suggesting that U.S. support for Israel was all about Jewish money and saying that pro-Israel lobby AIPAC pays members of Congress to support Israel. Omar wrote, "Anti-Semitism is real, and I am grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes." She wrote, "My intention is never to offend my constituents or Jewish Americans as a whole. We have always to be willing to step back and think through criticism, just as I expect people to hear me when others attack me for my identity. This," she said, "is why I unequivocally apologize." Omar added, however, at the end of the apology that at the same time, I reaffirm the problematic role of lobbyists in our politics, whether it be AIPAC, the NRA, or the fossil fuel industry. It's gone on too long, and we must be willing to address it. When asked about that last part of Omar's apology, B'nai B'rith International CEO Daniel Mariashin told JBS that comparing AIPAC, which seeks to strengthen the bonds of shared values between the United States and Israel, with trade or other special interest lobbies is totally off base. He said Omar has once again demonstrated her deeply held bias. A group of Palestinian and Israeli coexistence activists visited the home of slain Israeli teen Ori Ansbacher today in the West Bank Jewish settlement of Tekoa. Ansbacher was murdered by a Palestinian last week in what is being deemed an act of terror. The group of around 30 Palestinians and Jews who are members of the non-governmental organization Tag Meir paid the joint Shiva call to express their condolences and to condemn violence and to look for a way for Israelis and Palestinians to live together. Ansbacher's family reportedly welcomed the group with open arms. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded to the most recent report of threats from Iran against Israel. Reuters reported yesterday, citing Iranian state news agency IRNA, that a senior commander in the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps threatened two of Israel's largest cities if Iran is attacked by the United States. Brigadier General Yadola Javani was quoted as telling a rally marking the Islamic Revolution's 40th anniversary yesterday, "The United States does not have the courage to shoot a single bullet at us despite all its defensive and military assets. But," he said, "if they attack us, we will raze Tel Aviv and Haifa to the ground." Netanyahu shared a video statement on social media today that Iran would not succeed with such a threat. But he said if the Iranian regime makes a mistake and tries to destroy Tel Aviv and Haifa, this, he said, will be the last anniversary of the revolution that they celebrate. As we reported to you, the Prime Minister is flying to Warsaw tonight to take part in a U.S.-Polish-sponsored conference on Middle East peace and security that will focus largely on Iran. Netanyahu plans on meeting U.S. Vice President Mike Pence on the sidelines of the conference, and the Washington Post reported today that after the conference, which runs tomorrow and Thursday, Pence will visit Auschwitz on Friday, together with Polish President Andrzej Duda. And also with Netanyahu, he will visit a memorial to the 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. France's Interior Minister voiced his concern over the number of anti-Semitic acts in the country, which he said rose significantly over the last year. Christophe Castaner was speaking in the Paris suburb of Saint-Geneviève-des-Bois, where vandals chopped down a tree that was planted in memory of Ilan Halimi, a French Jewish man who was abducted, tortured, and killed in 2006. Castaner said that the total number of recorded anti-Semitic acts rose from 311 in 2017 to 541 in 2018. He vowed to fight the phenomenon, which he said was spreading like a poison. Other recent incidents include swastikas and hateful names painted over Paris town hall mailboxes bearing the image of the late French Jewish politician Simone Weil, herself a Holocaust survivor who fought for women's rights, and a bakery in Paris that was defaced with the German word for Jews. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin is in Cyprus today to mark 70 years since the closure of British detention camps for Jews trying to reach pre-state Israel after the Holocaust. Rivlin met with Cypriot President Nikos Anastasiadis and visited a monument in Nicosia marking the closing of the detention camps and dedicated to the 2,200 children of Holocaust survivors who were born in the camps between 1946 and 1949. Rivlin shared photos on social media of what he said was an emotional ceremony. Well, Israel's national carrier announced more direct flights from American cities to Israel today. El Al Israel Airlines said it would offer a nonstop flight during the summer months between Tel Aviv and Orlando, Florida. The 13-and-a-half-hour flight will be available beginning this June. In December, El Al said it was also starting nonstop flights in June to Las Vegas from Tel Aviv and in May to San Francisco. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, February the 12th at 7 o'clock, a survivor of Buchenwald, William Bernheim, shares his powerful story on Witness. At 8 o'clock, Erwin Kotler and Eliakim Rubinstein talk about why the UN should not be rejected despite its anti-Israel bias. At 9, we will air a 2015 L'Chaim interview in memory of the founding president of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, who died suddenly last week. At 10 tonight, His Eminence Timothy Cardinal Dolan is among the honorees at the 2017 New York Board of Rabbis Humanitarian Awards dinner. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, it's ILTV's Insight to Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 12th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.